Sim, já está aqui ligado. Tudo bem com vocês? Bom, a gente está aqui. Deixa eu tirar isso daqui. Mais clean. Espero que vocês tenham tido uma ótima semana. Que o final da semana tenha sido restaurador. Oh, sorry. Is in English. I will start this live about chapter 3. I hope you had a great final week and restarted your health, and you are so good to start a new week. I will start the third chapter, the origin of good and evil. And remember that origin of this is linked with 10 commandments. 10 commandments is not a futile commandments making by futile persons or disturbed persons. No. It was real, and this is commandments from the universe. This is commandments from nature, natural laws from universe. And how I finished the other chapter with this, I will start with this chapter. I finished in Portuguese with 10 commandments. Now I will start with this. It's not in this chapter, but I will start with this. First commandment, love God upon all things, is the first. Then, the addiction, don't will have force in your life if you post God up on things. Second, don't use the name of God to false, to in vain. What is this? Use the name of God to justify bad things. Have some people that are making this. They justify. In past, we can remember the Crusaders. This was use the name of God in vain, only to get more earth, the conqueror of earth. 3, left one day in a week to rest. Your health, the health of this body. Honor your mother and father. And first, still your mother and father was abandoned. They too, the two of them, make a union in a moment and open the doors to be in this world in evolution. Only this is a great treasure to give about father and mother in your heart. Make this, and other doors will be open to you. Don't kill. We don't have rights to kill other for no other reason. We can try to immobilize other. If we don't can make this, and in a fight, other will kill it, was not my intention. Don't have intention to kill other. Don't sin against your purity. I think is this, we can maintain this in all life. If we ever make actions feeling love with other, never we will commit sins. Don't rob. If you don't work for this, you don't can get this. Don't say false things against another. Don't have desire to woman of men of others. You don't know why these men are with those women. You don't know why these women are with this man. You don't have this right. Don't make this. Because you can attract more disgrace, more ungrace, or more graceless to your life. I don't know the right word, but making this, we must take to our life so bad things. Don't desire things of other, the material or matter of other that pertains to other. Don't desire this. Can be the fame of other, can be the success of other, can be the material goods to other. Don't desire this. Your happiness is not in riches of other. What you will make you happy is another thing you don't perceive it. But don't desire this from other. If it is from other, let this in hands of other. Don't try to get it. Is this? The 10 Commandments. If you observe this, now we will understand for what we must observe this more seriously, and not how a thing full of disconsideration of the serious to we study this is not. Is important things, is law of universe. Don't desire to other. Will serve in all place you are in universe. Don't desire what is the other. Don't desire the family of other. Don't desire respect God upon all things. God is the universe. All these are 10 principal laws of universe. And God takes this to us. The origin of good and evil. Since God is the principle of all things, and since this principle is all wisdom, all goodness, and all justice, then everything that proceeds from God must share God's attributes. Since God is infinitely wise, just and good, God can produce nothing unwise, unjust, or evil. God don't produce this. Hence, the evil will see cannot have its origin in God. After Kardec received all information from the spirits, this book is the last, because this Kardec don't put more questions, they put principles. Second, if evil were among the attributes of a special being that we call Abriman or Satan, then one of two things would apply. Either this being would be equal to God, and consequently as powerful and eternal as God, or it would be inferior to God. In the first case, there would be two rival powers struggling unceasingly, each seeking to undo what the other is doing, and mutually opposing each other. This theory is an irreconcilable with the unity revealed in the order of the universe. The universe, in his laws, natural laws, are order, are growing, are construction, not fight. In the second case, since that being is inferior to God, it would be subordinated to God. Since it had not existed for all eternity, which would make it equal to God, it would have had to have bad a beginning. If it was created, it could only my finger, oh my God. Grace of God is the initial part, grace of God. If evil were among the attributes of a special being that we call Anima or Satan, then one of two things would apply. Either this being would be equal to God, and consequently as powerful and eternal as God, or it would be inferior to God. They don't be the same God, because this theory is irreconcilable with the unity revealed in the order of the universe. Don't have two gods fighting in the universe, because we would see this. In the second case, since that being is inferior to God, it would be subordinated to God. Since it had not existed for all eternity, which would make it equal to God, it would have had to have had a beginning. If it was created, it could only have been created by God. Thus, God would have created the spirit of evil, which would be the negation of his infinite goodness. He recommends see heaven and hell. Heaven and Hell is another book that Kardec wrote. This is the 50th book. 40th book is Heaven and Hell, chapter 10, Demons. He explained in this book, Heaven and Hell, chapter 10, about demons. Have a great explanation about it. 3. Nevertheless, evil does exist and does have a cause. Evil of every kind, whether physical or moral, which afflict humankind, form two categories that must be distinguished. Those that humans can avoid and those that are outside their will. Among the latter, one must place natural calamities. Human beings' whole faculties are limited, can neither grasp nor fathom the objectives of the Creator. They judge things from the point of view of their own personality and the artificial interests and conventions they have created for themselves and which are not in the order of nature. That is why they often consider as evil and unjust what they would consider just and admirable if they were to see the cause, the purpose, and the end result. If they were to seek each thing's reason for being an unusefulness, they would realize that everything bears the mark of infinite wisdom, and they would bow before that wisdom, even for the things they don't understand. Humans have received a share of intelligence that can help them avoid, or at least largely mitigate, the effects of all natural calamities. The more they acquire wisdom and advance in civilization, the less such calamities will be disastrous. With a wisely forward-looking social organization, they will at least neutralize their consequences if they cannot be avoided entirely. Thus, regarding those same calamities which have their usefulness, calamities have their usefulness in general order of nature and for the nature, but which cause damage in the present. God has given humans, through the faculties with which God has endowed their spirit, the means to paralyze their effects of calamities. It's thus that humans make unhealthy areas healthy, neutralize pestilent miasmas, make barren lands fertile, and manage to preserve them from floods, that they build more sanitary and sound dwellings, which are more solid against the winds, that are so necessary for the purification of the atmosphere, and in which they shelter themselves from the elements. And finally, that little by little necessity has forced them to create the sciences, which have helped them improve the habitability of the globe and increase the sum of their well-being. Since humans must progress, the ills to which they are exposed are a stimulus for exercising their intelligence and all their physical and mental capabilities, thereby inciting them to search for the means to avoid them. If they have nothing to fear, no need would lead them to seek such means, and their minds would become sluggish from inactivity. They would invent nothing more, discover anything. Pain is the goal that drives humans forward on the path of progress. In resume, pain is the goal that drives humans forward on the path of progress. This is the same to say the addicted man is so more poor than those are passing by sufferings, grave sufferings after war, during and after war. However, the most numerous ills are those that humans create for themselves due to their own vices, those that result from their pride, selfishness, ambition, and greed, and from their excesses in all things. Therein lies the cause behind the wars, calamities, dissensions, injustice, oppression of the weak by the strong. In short, most of the maladies that afflict them. God has established laws full of wisdom. I read the laws to you, 10 commandments, was various of other, have another, I think, but you don't have comprehension to understand still. But these 10 demands are applying, unfortunately. God has established laws full of wisdom, which have only the good as their purpose. Humans have within themselves everything they need to comply with them. Their pathway is traced out by their conscience, and the divine law is engraved on their heart. Furthermore, God incessantly reminds them of these laws through Messiah and prophets, through all the incarnate spirits who receive the mission to enlighten, moralize, and improve them, and these later times through the multitude of discarnate spirits who are manifesting themselves everywhere. If humans were to conform strictly to the divine laws, there is no doubt that they would avoid the most pungent ills, and that they would live happily on the earth. If humans were to conform strictly to the divine laws, there is no doubt that they would avoid the most pungent ills, and that they would live happily on the earth. If they don't, it's by virtue of their own free will, and so they must suffer the consequences. Then Kardec give a suggestion. See the Gospel according to Spiritism, chapter 5, numbers 4, 5, 6. However, God, full of goodness, has placed the remedy alongside evil. That is to say, evil itself gives rise to the good. A time comes when the excess of moral evil becomes intolerable, intolerable, and makes humans feel the necessity to change course. Taught by experience, they are compelled to seek a remedy in the good, but always an effect of their free will. When they enter onto a better path, it's due to their will and because they realize the inappropriateness of their early ways. Thus, necessity forces them to improve morally in order to be happier, just as the same necessity has forced them to improve the material conditions of their existence. One could say that evil is the absence of the good, the same as cold is the absence of heat. Just as cold is not a special fluid, neither is evil a distinct attribute. One is simply the negation of the other. Thus, where the good doesn't exist, evil necessarily does. Not practicing evil is already the beginning of the good. Not practicing evil is already the beginning of the good. God desires only the good. Evil proceeds only from humans. Evil proceeds only for humans. Evil proceeds only from humans. If in creation there were a being predisposed to evil, no one could avoid it. But since humans have the cause of evil within themselves, minuscules, themselves, evil within themselves, and at the same time have their free will and the divine laws as a guide. They could avoid evil whenever they wished. Let us take a common example for comparison. A landowner knows that at the edge of his property there is a dangerous spot where those who venture onto it could die or get hurt. What does the landowner? Don't prevent accidents. He places a sign next to the spot warning of the danger of going further. Such is the law. It's wise and foresightful. Such is the law. It's wise and foresightful. If, in spite of these imprudent persons, disregard the warning, go beyond it, and something bad happens, who can they blame but themselves? It's the same. It is with all evil. Humans would avoid it if they would observe the divine laws, 10 commandments. For example, God has put a limit on the satisfaction of needs. Eat food, make sex, desire things. God has put a limit on the satisfaction of needs. Humans are warned by satiate. Humans are warned but by satiety. If they surpass this limit, desiring what is from the other, desire the man or woman of the other, desire all things of the other, don't respect God, don't honor, give honor to father and mother, don't respect ties of family, don't respect this. All this to our satisfaction, excess of satisfaction, okay? Because have limits. The maladies, illness, and death that can cause are therefore the effect of their own lack of foresight, not God's. God has put a limit on satisfaction of needs. Humans are warned by society, I don't know how to pronounce this. If they surpass the limit, they don't, so they do for nothing disappear here. Can you understand this? I don't understand this. Some people are liking this, but I will continue. God has put a limit. I will repeat. Does it's with all evil human would avoid if they would observe the divine laws. For example, God has put a limit, God has put a limit on the satisfaction of needs. Humans are warned by society. If they surpass this limit, they do so intentionally. The maladies, illnesses, and death that can ensue are therefore the effect of their own lack of foresight, not God's. And in final, if evil is the result of the imperfections of human beings, this the fruit of the cake. Now, if evil is the result of the imperfections of human beings, and human beings were created by God, then one might say that if God did not create evil, God created the cause of evil, at least. If God had made humans perfect, evil would not exist. The person that think this way, think they are full of logic dogs. My God. I will repeat. If God created the cause of evil, at least, if God, the cause of evil is the man. I will read since starting. If evil is the result of imperfection of human beings, and human beings were created by God, the cause evil is human beings, then one might say that if God did not create evil, God created the cause of evil, the man. At least, if God had made humans perfect, evil would not exist. Pay attention now. If humans had been created perfect, fate would have led them toward the good. However, by virtue of their free will, fate led them neither toward the good nor toward evil. Good willed them to be subject to the law of progress. Yes, the key is this. Law of progress for what? And for such progress to be the fruit, because God is totally goodness. Good. God is totally good. Because this, God willed them to be subject to the law of progress. And for such progress to be the fruit of their own effort, in order for them to have the merit for it. God willed them to be subject of the law of progress, and for such progress to be the fruit of their own effort, in order for them to have the merit for it. What we will take when we go to other dimension, the merit or the merit from our choose, only this. In the same way, they bear the responsibility for the evil committed as a result of their free will. This, therefore, lies in knowing the source in human beings for their propensity toward evil. God willed them to be subjected to the law of progress. God wants no machines. God don't want machines. God wants a being capable to recognize the good of his creature. How a father don't created a robot, a father in this planet and mother want his son have progress. To recognize his father and mother how protectors of him and love this father and mother is the same. We are a reflect from God. God willed them to be subject of the law of progress, and for such progress to be the fruit of their own effort, in order for them to have the merit for it. In the same way, they bear the responsibility for the evil committed as a result for their free will. The issue therefore lies is knowing the source in human beings for their propensity toward evil. We don't will recognize the code if we don't recognize the hot. We don't will recognize the light if we don't recognize the how to say this? The black night, for example, if we don't recognize, can recognize the lights if we don't see the black night. darkness, then we don't can recognize the light if we don't recognize the darkness. Is this how in Feng Shui the yin and the yang, one is complementation, is complement of other, one complement of other. And all this in universe is this way too. Then don't have punishment in God. Have only a necessity they give to Creator, reconstruct what the Creator is capable to destruct. Who receive destruction is cause one day destruct this in another person or another life. And this way we can see the universe this far. In primitive worlds, how our planet is still are going out from proofs and sufferings, expiations, and are going to regeneration planet. Regeneration, see this, what all people are trying to make to nature. Regeneration of environments. This is one more detail that are ratificating this moment in this planet. They are being to transform in a planet of regeneration, not more proofs and expiations. And it's this, who still don't believe in Ten Commandments, please give an eye to this, because this was so old, eternal loss from the universe. And don't think that don't have no one with eyes in us. It's a fallacy. Have so much eyes upon this planet. Of course, that have. Then have a good night and thank you your presence. Thank you your attention is so important and give us the motivation. But I say to you, we still have one people here. I will be so happy to talk about it, because I feel marvelous all time I come here, because this is the food of my spirit. God bless all. Have a great week full of work and progress and prosperity.